Hello, welcome to Skull RPG Podcast. My name's Dwight Skull.
My name's Jacob Skull.
And today we're going to teach you how to tell your story.
So this is Jacob. We're going to be doing something a little bit different this time. I currently have Matt with me, and I'm going to be giving him two things to create a story, and then he's going to come up with an idea off the cuff, and then I'm going to have Dwight in here. I'm going to give him the same two things, and you're going to see how drastically what they come up with is different. So, Matt, what I'm going to give you is D&D setting,
okay,
but the Drow are going to war.
Okay, so the idea that the Drow are going to war. Okay, so what I would do for that is I would do a slow build, because the Drow are known to be subtle. Mm-hmm. So I would take the concept. So let's just say a dwarven kingdom, okay? Mm-hmm. And you have the underground thing, and the players are investigating little things that are going on, like a disappearance of a miner, or sabotage of some equipment, and so on. And as they go through, then you have the idea that they find clues, and it becomes a mystery game. It's like, oh, here's a clue of, it's a small miniature crossbow. What is this? We don't know what this is. And then they go through, and then they find, and all these clues just start building up until the climax of the first scene or first act of the session would be they encounter a Drow raiding party that was like a scouting party that was there to prepare the Dwarven kingdom for invasion. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then that's the end of the first act. The second act then is they drive the scouting party away, and then it's preparations for an attack on this kingdom. And then you go through, and they have to go through, and they have to find magic items, go on quest for magic items, go on quest for allies, to build an alliance against the Drow who they know are coming. Mm-hmm. And then the conclusion of the second act will then be they know that the Drow are coming, and the preparations are done. And then you would move into like the third act, which would be you started off with a battle. Mm-hmm. But because the Drow are not straightforward, then you have several sessions where it's like, oh, they're attacking. They drive into the kingdom, and they fight. But while that's going on, they're also infiltrating from different directions. They're tunneling up into the kingdom from a different way, or they're magically teleporting in at key locations, and then that's the resolution is the war itself, as they fight. And by doing that in the different acts, then what you would have is so let's kind of break those down a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So the first one, is your typical mystery game where you have clue after clue, and they have to try to piece it together. And what's nice about a mystery game is that you lay breadcrumbs for them of you find this one small piece of the puzzle, but then it ties into this other thing that they don't know yet, and then it becomes really easy for the GM to run a game like that because you hook them into this mystery. They're actively seeking, oh, I want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Because you hook them early, and you tie it into personal reasons. So let's say you have a party that's all dwarves, okay, and they're all this is their home. So and one of them has his father goes missing, and that right there hooks that player into the story right away, because he has a personal stake in the game. And by doing that, then it, you and then you do that for each of the players, like, oh, he's his best friend, so of course he's hooked into it by the same thing. But then you can also do other hooks, like oh, this person is part of this guild, and this guild was raided, or so on. And then by doing it that way, you hook them into the story early.
Yeah.
And give them consequences of failure. Personal consequences. Maybe you then say you frame one of them for the destruction of the equipment that they were, and then suddenly it becomes they have to find different clues on how to
prove their innocence.
Exactly. And then you build that up. And then at the end of that, of course, you have the big reveal. And what's nice about that is then you've laid the breadcrumbs into that reveal, and then it gives a satisfying conclusion to that act.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you go into the second act. Then the second act is then they have a looming conflict. Their kingdom is about to be destroyed. So, how do they? And because they were the ones to reveal it, they are given, a hand in trying to prevent this. So the king of the dwarves approaches them and says, I need you to go to this neighboring kingdom of, say, gnomes. And we've had good relations with them, but we know that we have this alliance with them. So let's go over there, and I need you to tell them that this is happening, and they need to fulfill the terms of their alliance. So you go over to the gnomes kingdom, and they find out that something is happening in the gnome kingdom that they have to resolve before they can come out and help them out. Mm-hmm. So say, and you can tie this back into the main story, where the Drow know that they have this alliance. So they riled up a tribe of orcs to attack the gnomes. Okay? So then you have to go through, and you have to either, through diplomacy or through combat, pacify the orcs so that the gnomes can then go help the dwarves. Mm-hmm. And then you have your subplots. And then they get the gnomes back, and then they have other options, like say they need there is a magic hammer that will rally the troops because it was wielded by this ancient dwarf hero, and it's been lost for hundreds of years. Okay, then you can then say okay, then we have to go visit a sage, a wizard, who has knowledge of where this might be. And then along the way, you go through, and then you build in these subplots until you gain enough power to then go through and solidify the kingdom so that they have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have, like I said, the third act. And the third act is interesting because it's all conflict. Mm-hmm. And conflict resolution, because it's like and you tie up all these loose ends, like say there was a particular drow who was a thorn in their side earlier on. It's like, oh well, he's leading this raiding party, so you have to go deal with him, and then you're tying up these loose ends of these characters, of these big bads that they are fighting while this conflict is going on.
Hey, thanks for listening.
And for more resources, please go to skullrpg.com.